What's going on, Junkies? It's Kenshiro. We're back with Culture Junkies Live. Dude, we got a really hype free show for you today because it's almost like a new beginning. We got a lot of new toys, got a lot of new faces, got a lot of new voices that are going to be on the show today. But we're going to be talking about Thor Ragnarok. If you had a chance to see it, we did too, but we're going to give you our 2 cents about it. But before I get to all of that, let me introduce who's going to be on the show today. Joining me are the regular Junkies, Super Nerd Plus, Dido. What's up, bro?
Hey.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Great. Dido Kuji is checking in. Also, we're going to have GQ. He's going to be joining us at some point, but I'd be remiss if I didn't announce some of the new collaborators. One that you see on the screen right there, Miss Tony Mentor. How are you, lady?
Hey.
Awesome. And returning from the League of Extraordinary Fangirls, LGZ. What's up, girlfriend?
Hey, everybody.
And last but not least, a very big fan of the show. Almost you want to say is a super fan, not necessarily a super nerd, because that name is actually taken already. Fallen Marvel, what's up, bro?
What's up, everybody? Glad to be on the show with you guys.
Awesome, awesome. We're glad to have you, finally. So, guys, welcome to Culture Junkies Live. It's our pleasure to actually have you on. First time that we're introducing some new collaborators, some new voices. We thought it was long overdue for us to have some fresh blood on. So really briefly, Tony and Fallen Marvel, give a little bit of an intro. Let everybody know who you are and what you're all about.
All right. Well, I'm Divine the Tony A. Mentor.
Love how she had that attitude with it when she said it too.
Yeah, you gotta do the hair swing. I have been an avid watcher of Culture Junkies for a while, thanks to my hubby, Anthony Mentor. I've been a very big fan of the show, and now I finally get to be on. So, hey.
Hey. Cool. Thanks for joining the show, Tony. We appreciate you. Fallen Marvel, your turn.
Again, my moniker is Fallen Marvel. Real name is Kyle. Been watching Culture Junkies. It's been like all year, roughly now, and I pretty much instantly became a fan of it because it's just like watching you guys talk about everything is just like me chatting with my friends like all of the time. So I'm just glad to be a part of it. So again, thanks for having me on.
That's pretty much what Culture Junkies is all about, my friend. So absolutely glad to have you on, sir. And LGZ, thank you for coming back and joining the show. Congratulations to you and your Houston Astros. Actually, really, you should be congratulating, or you should be thanking us, since we kind of sent you Justin Verlander, and if it wasn't for that, you guys probably wouldn't be there. So give big ups to Detroit. Why don't you do that?
Whatever. Shout out to the Houston Astros. I love my hat. Anyway, shout out to the Houston Astros. Hey, everyone. Glad to be here. This is different from League of Extraordinary Fangirls, so I'm just here for the experience, and I'm ready to get going. Let's go.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get to it. I'm glad you said that. So, dudes and dudettes, maybe I'll probably try not to ever do that again. I apologize.
Please don't ever say that again.
Sorry.
You don't have to call me and do that.
My bad. My bad. I'm like really sorry for that. My bad. So anyway, Thor Ragnarok came out on Friday, and it came out like gangbusters. Did like 121 million domestic over the weekend. Has already almost hit 500 million worldwide.
Nice.
A lot of people really like the show. It's been really, critically acclaimed. Of course, there's some people that don't like the show, but first off and foremost, as I put on the promo ads that we sent all over the place, was it worth the hype? Was it a Dynamite movie or was it a dud? Let's let some of the newbies go first. Tony A. Mentor has been chomping at the bit to talk about it. So, girl, why don't you go ahead? I'm gonna give you the floor.
Oh my goodness! So for me, it was
no spoilers, by the way. No spoilers, by the way. All right, no just saying that. All right, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna try my best not to do this.
All right.
Was straight Dynamite. I enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. It was a lot different from the usual of what they usually do. Has usually a very dark tone. I was able to follow it. I felt like I didn't have to watch the first two again just to see what's going on with this one. So for me, Dynamite.
All right, cool. Fallen Marvel, your turn. What'd you think?
Well, I've been keeping up with like all the promos and stuff for it. Like from what I've seen, like it lived up to the hype that it was drawing up for itself. Personally, I really feel that it was a bold take that they went with this one because the previous movies were always kind of taking themselves seriously in a way. So the fact that they decided to go a more comedic route and to make it a little bit more self-aware, it was just a fun ride. So honestly, I really feel it. Hey, it was Dynamite to me. It lived up to the hype. So that's all I can need to say about that one.
Cool. Well, unfortunately, LGZ did not go see the film. So we'll skip her and go to the people that actually did see the film. GQ has just joined the show. Say hello and tell us what you thought about Thor Ragnarok, my friend.
Well, I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok thoroughly. I mean, it was a great movie overall. A lot of people were trying to complain about the comedic tone. If they were paying attention to how the Thor films have evolved, and if you know anything about the teaser that they did for Comic-Con, they are basically melding and bringing Guardians of the Galaxy's tone and feel into the Thor universe because, spoiler, Thor is the first person that runs into the Guardians of the Galaxy as far as we know for Infinity War. So they're basically kind of getting that whole, meshing that whole feel and that kind of theme together. So that So I mean that's really what they're doing. It's not really so much it's too funny, it's too much comedy. It's like no, they're preparing you for the fact that you're about to get a crossover between Thor, who was for a little while was much more serious tone, to a Guardians of the Galaxy type of thing because it's going to be the first, basically the first person that runs into them and then on their way to whatever. So I don't know. It's when people criticize things like that, I always take a step back on it because it's like, have you been watching the movies more so as a fan, or have you been watching it as somebody that's paying attention to the greater overall story and picture that they're putting together? So that's how I look at it.
A great point. And also Q is in the chat on Facebook. He says your vest is very dope, as dapper as always. Well, you do not disappoint. You do not disappoint. I want to say hello to a couple of people. Tom TV over there on YouTube. Welcome back. You used to be an avid watcher of League of Extraordinary Fangirls, and you're a fan of LGZ. So he says hello. I want to say hello to Maurice Baker joining the show for the first time, a new fan of Culture Junkies. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Please do leave your comments in the chat, and we will discover it. Super Nerd and Dido weigh in on the comedic nature of Thor Ragnarok, and do we feel how? Let's transition into what we thought of the Hulk in this movie. A lot was made about the Hulk being part of the film, and it taking place on Planet Sakaar, and we lost Planet Hulk as a possible standalone movie. Comment on that, you guys.
I don't think that you lost Planet Hulk, and I'm gonna tell you why. They can do a movie of Banner going out into space since he was friggin' the Hulk for 2 years. You can see how he got there, what he had to go through to get on top, all that other crap. So they can do a Planet Hulk movie. But regardless of that, for the comedic tone, if you look at the Thor movies, granted they weren't funny at all, but they had some funny stuff in it. And Thor was the one that was usually the funny one because he was a fish out of water in those other two movies. So they just took that fish out of water and they went with it. They gave him a whole entire school or whatever. And I think it worked. I like that they made it the Guardians of the Galaxy or fitting it into that tone, because some movies can be serious like Captain America or Black Panther. And some movies can be, funny, and Guardians of the Galaxy has that funny tone to it. It has a little bit more lighthearted. It's okay to have Thor to be a little bit more lighthearted because, the other Thor movies, I liked them, but they were probably the weakest of the entire cinematic universe. And this one right here, to me, is up there with Guardians of the Galaxy. So I appreciate what they did. Don't count out a Planet Hulk movie. If the executives or the writers are smart, they can totally flesh one out, but it won't be in the connecting with the MCU or having to do with, you know, the new Avengers movie, because who knows what's going to happen in the future with these movies after the Avengers. So
I agree.
I think Kevin Feige knows.
Well, he would know, most definitely.
Super Nerd, where in the hell are you? I asked you for your feedback, dude. Are you slipping on the job? You tipping the sauce a little bit too much? What's going on, dude?
We had this conversation. I didn't see it.
Oh, that's right. You didn't see it. He's the only one of us that didn't. The only one of the junkies that lives in town. When we had our event last Friday, he didn't go. Everybody was there. Even Megashawn and his son were there. And you hardly ever see them. Anyway, I'll stop busting his balls.
The Reeves brothers came out.
Even both of them.
What?
Both of them.
I didn't know that.
Both of them were there.
Whoa.
Yeah, both of them were there. It was something else. I want to say hello to HW Nova over there on Twitch. Great to see you as well. So he didn't see it. Fine. Let's throw it back to some of the new collaborators. Let's talk about some of the other elements in the film, namely Cate Blanchett. How did she do as Hela, man? She was awesome.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I do have to say though, I'm very used to seeing Cate Blanchett in some villainous roles. So this to me was nothing new when they picked her, because I mean she's been in like about 3 or 4 other movies where she played a very good villain, a very good conniving woman. So it was really good to see her again. I love her facial expressions and her smirks. So I know what my costume is going to be next Halloween. I'm going to try to fit my little thick self in them little skinny black outfit. So, because everybody that knows me, I love a good villain. So I got my new villain, no longer Maleficent.
All right.
And
Cool.
sure, you ever laugh like that again, like some old 1990s crap
Dr.
shooter?
Doom.
No,
Wait a minute. Hold on. Crack shooter?
I said crap shooter, like you shooting dice.
Crap shooter. Whatever, man. Anyway, let's keep it moving. What do we think? What do we think with? I mean, Cate Blanchett as Hela being. Okay, some of the comic book aficionados might take umbrage with some of the changes that were made in the movie. We already talked a little bit about Hulk. Cate Blanchett's relationship to Thor was what Thor and Loki actually was changed on a very fundamental level. But these, and it, you know, we talked a little bit briefly about how it's being over the top, I guess, with the jokes and stuff like that. Do we feel like this movie fell into the Marvel formula category, where it will like actually kind of follow the script a little bit? GQ, what do you think?
It did what it needed to do. It's the next chapter or next phase of moving towards Infinity War. And there's nothing wrong with that. The changes they made to Hela, I'm absolutely positively fine with, because the way they did it, it's like, look, I could believe what they put out way easier than cinematic Loki as we've seen him being her father, because we haven't seen anything that even leads up to that, hints at that, anything. So it's like, you know, throwing it in as they did, the relationship as they did, made a ton of sense, because it's like, look, we haven't heard of her up to this point, so let's give the audience something that's easy enough to believe that, hey, here's why we haven't heard of her up to this point, because of, you know, her relationship with Odin, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And that was fine. I have no problem with that. As far as it following the formula, though, I mean, it's a working formula, so I mean, I personally have absolutely no problem with it. They make bank on every single movie they put out, and you can't argue with that. I mean, it's not to knock DC, but DC is trying to find their formula where they can make $1 billion for one of their cinematic movies. So they do that. I really don't care what the naysayers say. You can talk about it all day long until you hit $1 billion for one of your standalone films. I don't want to hear from you.
I did have one moment without doing a little spoiler, I don't know about that whole Lion King moment with Odom. I felt like it was like a Lion King, Simba, Mufasa moment with him and his sons.
I can see that. I can see
That
that
was the
argument.
only part that I was like,
Well, as much as I don't like sentimental things, I accepted it because of the fact that it was that one opportunity where you get Odin and his sons together on the same page. They learn something new. They learn there's a new threat coming, and he's gone. So I mean, I don't like stuff like that. I never like stuff like that. But in this one instance, I accepted it because it was a callback to the original film when he was explaining to them about the frost giants and why war, why a good king doesn't seek out war, but he's always got to be ready for it. So it's just a
Yeah.
callback to the original movie. It's not really so much them, trying to get all extra sappy and sentimental. It was like, nope, this is Anthony Hopkins' bow out in this film, and here's a scene for it, and he's on.
I agree. I agree with that. Initially, I felt the way they set it up for it. I felt that it worked. And again, it was just like a callback to the original with Odin, like giving that lesson to both of them and actually bringing some humility to both of them and things like that. And I thought that was pretty good. And I know as far as Hela goes, bruh, all I know is she's definitely one of the more memorable villains that we've had up to this point. Like they've really been doing very, very well with the villains. Like the last last few years, they've been doing really good with them. So overall, I mean, our only issue I have is that avoid spoilers. There was a character that wasn't explained why that certain character wasn't there. So hopefully they address that down the line. But other than that, I enjoyed what I watched.
All right, I can dig that.
Well, LGZ, we haven't heard from you in a little while. I mean, you're hearing some of this stuff and going back and forth. What do you think about the movie? Seeing as how you haven't seen it, and you too, Super Nerd, you weigh in a little bit. Hearing this, like, does this dampen your excitement for seeing the movie at all, or does it change kind of what you were thinking about it going in?
Well, actually, listening to you guys, I'm still gonna go see the movie either way. I just want to, again, I was reading. I'm always reading, so I was reading reviews, and things were kind of weird. So I just wanted to, like, kind of get the take on what the consensus was. But I'm still gonna see it either way. I'm excited. I'm ready to go see it. Like I said, I did read a lot of bad stuff. I think it was the comedy aspect, and I've seen that it's kind of increasing movie to movies, like more comedy, more comedy, more comedy, and I kind of understand. It's like, it's great to have, those funny moments, but you put too many funny moments and it kind of takes away from the actual meaning of the movie. So maybe that's how people are feeling about it. But I mean, again, I'm still gonna go see it, so I'm excited and I'm ready.
Hey, if you want to have fun, go see it. Period.
I think it by it being funny though was a good balance. Because some of the Marvel movies have been a little bit on the dark side, so they need to even it out. Because not all of them has to be dark.
Darkness. Everybody said it was funny. I mean, I thought Thor 2 Dark World was amazing. Yes, it was dark, but I'm not really a big.
I've never really heard Thor: The Dark World connotated with amazing.
I thought it was dope.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit? I mean, a lot of people felt like that was just really weak as far as a Marvel movie goes. Yeah, a lot of people thought it was weak.
I mean, I'm not a big Thor fan, but watching that, like, of course, the first movie, everybody like, oh, whatever. I didn't really like the first movie, but the second movie, I just felt like he got us fitting in there and he knew what he was doing. I like that more, and it was, like I said, it was dark too. Now it's gonna be funny. I mean, I don't have a problem being funny, but at least add little dark elements to it, because it's the whole mythos of Norse mythology. You can't be funny all the damn time in Norse mythology.
They kept the Norse mythology there completely. You're not going to be disappointed with that at all. Sometimes it needs to change the tone. Maybe for some series to keep the tone always the same. I'm personally glad they changed it. I didn't hate Thor Dark World or whatever the hell it was called. I liked it, but this one I thought was a lot better. They have to be careful with that because they end up being like DC, where all their movies are dark and brooding, and they don't know what the hell they're supposed to do. So I don't want them to do that. And it only takes one screw up for them all to be like that. And you never know what could happen. You can get some idiot writer come in here and they make $1 billion because it's a Marvel movie, and then, oh yeah, we like that tone. So hopefully this is not that movie, because if even me talking about that, I don't want all the Marvel movies to be stupid funny. They need to be various. Because
here's why I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I hope not.
It's one of those situations. It's one of those situations where their formula, if you look at it, they've touched on almost every genre, every thematic type of film you can do. They've had spy thrillers, they've had comedies, they've had galactic like operas, they've had fantasy movies, they've had tech movies, they've had every single type of film that you can have. And I think what they're doing with Thor Ragnarok is they're getting all the comedy out that's left, because again, there's only one film left, and it's Black Panther. And Black Panther is an origin story, kind of, sort of, and it's the first black superhero of this caliber on screen since Blade. And they're not about to mess this one up, because they've got a ton of goodwill moving into this one. This one's probably be another, extremely high, grossing film, and they're about to suck all the comedy out of it, because Tony, Cap, all of them are going to be on their A game once Thanos shows up, because all the jokes and all the funniness is going to be gone, because Thanos is going to come down to Earth, killing people left, right, and center. So I think they're getting their chance to like say, hey, here's the funny, but in about 6 months it's done, because Thanos is going to show up and man, come on, y'all saw that off the credit scene, right?
It's a wrap.
It was like it's an absolute wrap. It was like, oh, what's it? Oh, you saw how big, man. It's on, dude. It's
on. Side note, shout out to the rest in peace to Mjolnir that GQ is holding in his hand.
I stole this from Heller, and I got a deal. This is mine.
Yo, man, there ain't no coming back from that, dude. She broke it into pieces. Mjolnir is dead. He's dead.
Dude. He got it on clearance.
1-to-1 prop. This is mine.
Got it on clearance. Well done. I love it.
This mug works too. It's awesome.
Awesome. So anyway, guys, last comments on Thor, and then we're gonna move on real fast. How will we remember the Thor trilogy of movies? Everybody, real brief. How will we remember it?
I think it could be remembered positively. This one definitely was an improvement by leaps and bounds. I do agree that it was the weakest in it. Not far from being the worst movies ever, but I feel it'll be remembered, especially with the third entry.
For me, the first two is forgettable because I really don't even remember them. But definitely this one is kind of like the exclamation mark.
Yeah, it's kind of like that roller coaster, if you think about it. The first two, yeah, it was a little boring going up that hill. You just click, 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 click. But then you got that Thor Ragnarok hit you at the top, and you just dive all the way down like that, and you're like, yeah, oh shit, yeah.
That third time's a charm.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I mean, he sounded just like Howard Dean on the presidential trail with that. Anyway, continue. Super Nerd, how will we remember the Thor trilogy?
Fuck if I know. Shit.
This dude.
I mean, I can't give you a real answer. I mean, I'm be honest. I have.
How about an educated guess, Mark?
Thank you, man. An educated guess.
Wait a minute. Wait. 1 second. Let me think about it.
He takes a drink.
I need Fat Tire to send me a check. I'm a big fan. Besides the point, hopefully it will be remembered greatly. I mean, I'm not a big Thor fan, so it's like even Hulk. Man. I'm not a big Hulk fan either. Like,
can't even.
Oh no!
But here's the thing.
He can't even fake it, man. Come on.
I'm not a big Thor and Hulk fan. I only like them in other people's comic books and other people's movies. That's how I've always been as a kid. Like I just cannot. I mean, I like them as characters. They're very strong characters, but I just can't read a whole Thor series or a whole Hulk series, or even buy a Thor or Hulk movie. I just won't happen.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
I think I can't wait till I see the third movie, but I really like the first one and the second one. The first one was a little slow, but towards the end it got much better, and then the second one I liked too as well. So I'm excited to see the third. I think all of the movies out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe have been pretty good as far as their respective trilogies and whatnot. So I think Thor will be no different.
Fair enough. GQ, Dido.
Dido already went.
Oh, that's right. GQ, what do you think?
Are you drinking Kenshiro?
No.
Right. Nah,
I'm not a lush like you.
I look at
Shut your face.
The fact that I'm even holding a Mjolnir replica is testament to the fact that the Thor movies did their job. Because, like Super Nerd, I was never a Thor fan. Didn't care about him. Knew about him. Didn't really care about him. It was never a book that I read. Never a book that I picked up. If he showed up, fine. I knew who he was, but that was the extent of it. Going into that first Thor movie, it was like Chris Hemsworth did his thing. He made that character interesting. Made that character fun. He made that character like, oh, I like this guy. He's actually an interesting character now. So he, basically Hemsworth did his job, and the first movie did what it needed to do, and it had me hyped up because of the way that they brought Hawkeye in, because they just snuck it in. It was just like, boom, here you go. I need somebody up high with a gun, and this guy grabs a bow and arrow. Mm-hmm. Anybody that knows what they're doing knows who that is. So it was like, okay, I see what they're doing, and they're building this thing. Thor: The Dark World, a lot of people didn't like it. They were like, oh, well, it's this and it's that. It's another wasted villain. It's like, if you've been keeping track, every villain that supposedly was mega powerful and super that got taken out easy got taken out by an Infinity Stone. So not really a bad way to go if you're a villain, because that's kind of one of the ultimate powers in the universe, and that's what it took to take you out. So I'm kind of okay with that. So I didn't really, care about it. It was just more Thor, and I enjoyed it. And plus, what's her name is Darcy was awesome. So I enjoyed it.
I mean,
Kat Dennings was nice. Maurice Baker has a quick comment over there on Facebook. He says, "No Jane Foster love story equals a better movie." I'm sure you'll agree with that.
One more thing. Who the fuck cares about Malekith? I don't trust a brother named Malekith.
But you
mispronouncing the name and everything.
Will Korg. All I gotta say is that really a spoiler. Korg was ideal.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we blew through that topic. We spent 30 minutes. We want to thank everybody for hanging out and watching with us so far. We're gonna move on to the next topic that kind of hit everybody. I think it was like yesterday. And just made you go, holy shit. And that is the Disney Fox merger that's been proposed out there, that has serious, and I mean serious implications for everybody. Yo, man, let me set the stage. Don't everybody attack it. What? Let me set the stage real quick.
Okay.
Damn.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Cool. So
we need to talk about this.
Yeah, we do need to talk about it. Calm down. Let me set it up.
This is how you talk when you're making love. You don't make this long.
Yo, man, I'm gonna need you to get out my bedroom, dude. I'm gonna need you to get out my bedroom, man. Come on, dude. Anyway, so check it out. Disney, it came out. The news leaked yesterday that there had been talks that Disney approached Fox for acquiring some of their media properties, and the reasons are twofold. One, Fox is weakened by ongoing controversies with Fox News and their media personalities. Their IPs are not doing as strong in the movie theaters compared to some of the others. They do not have a streaming outlet for them to have some of their original movies, and the Alien franchise is not doing very good. The X-Men franchise was struggling until recently with Deadpool and maybe even The Gifted and the upcoming New Mutants. So they might be looking to offload some of their properties, and Disney approached them seeing a weakness, wanted to pounce on that because they are also trying to do their own streaming service, and the deal would get them check it. All of the Marvel properties that are under Fox. It would get them FX, the channel, and all of the broadcast stuff that they would get. They would get the Aliens franchise. They would get the Planet of the Apes franchise as well. Everything under Fox they would get and be able to add to their media library. This would not include ESPN because they're not allowed to own those. It would be a monopoly with them owning ESPN. They are not allowed to get Fox News because they already own ABC, and that would be also another monopoly. So in any case, let's keep it within the geek realm. Exactly when you heard this news, and we'll start with the new collaborators first. What did you think? Like, did your mind just go like, holy shit, or what?
Honestly, I can concur with that type of reaction because me and friends have been talking about it for a while. Like, if Disney ever wanted to get those Marvel IPs properties back, it's like the best thing they could do is just do a hostile takeover. So, but again, it's just kind of like the first thing that popped in my head was the whole Disney and Sony thing. First they were talking about it, then they weren't talking about it, and then it was revealed that they actually did the whole thing with Spider-Man. So right now I'm just taking it all with a grain of salt, but overall it's like I hope it leads to something good, because all the Marvel stuff, with the exception of Deadpool 2, I'm not looking forward to. I don't care about X-Men Dark Phoenix. I don't care about the New Mutants horror movie that they're making, and Gambit, the fanfare for Gambit went out like over a decade ago. It's like, I'm not interested. Just leave it alone. And I don't want to see another Fantastic Four from them either. So Disney, do what you need to do as far as I'm concerned.
I personally don't think the merger is going to go through. While it would be great, I don't think it's going to go through.
What? Wait a minute, hold up. Did you not hear what we just said about when they started teasing the whole Sony Spider-Man thing and everybody got all super excited, and next thing you know they were like dead, and then boom, it happened?
I get it, but I just don't think. Okay, so I'm from the business world, right? So when you think about mergers and what they need, or what would make it to suffice, and how the stockholders will be, will take it. I think those two companies independently are too big, and they're not going to merge. They may talk about mergers, they may get to a really great price, but I think at the end of the day, it's not going to happen.
All right, hold on.
But like I said, I wish it would. But
is it supposed to be a merger?
Actually, let me get one guy in there that I know absolutely for certain is going to dispute that, and that's someone that is actually owns stock in Disney, and that's GQ. Hit him with it, man. This is gonna happen.
I'd actually be 100% fine with it, and here's why. Like Dido was about to say, it's not necessarily a merger per se. It's them just acquiring their film division. So I mean, you go back 10 years, nobody in the world would have thought that Disney would have been able to buy outright LucasArts, ILM, and Skywalker Sound.
Hell no.
But they did it. They bought Marvel, basically with everything that was available with Marvel, and turned it into Marvel Studios. So it's not so much that they can't do it or that the stockholders, because it's like, in all reality, it's kind of a win on all sides,
all
of
fronts,
own stock in those companies, because Disney makes money. That's what they do. That's kind of their thing. They started off as a theme park in a movie studio, making animated movies, and now they basically are on their way to world domination when it comes to entertainment. So I mean, that's kind of what they do.
And that's where I think it kind of gets kind of weird, right? Because yes, so buying the whole Lucasfilm, all that stuff, and acquiring the Star Wars is one thing in regards to Disney. But I think when you get into getting Fox, so then that means in order for it to be under Disney, they'd have to kind of change the creative content as far as what they put out, being that it's associated with Disney. So I don't think that we would get this. I think they would. No, I really think they would.
Okay, look, I'm gonna give you an example of an R-rated film that's under Disney's moniker and under this banner, Pulp Fiction. Disney puts out a ton of content that people don't even necessarily know is Disney. So for them just buying, it's essentially the same as if they bought 20th Century Fox. They're buying them to acquire the properties. They could even keep the name around for nostalgia's sake if they want to, and let them do their thing. but you answer to Disney essentially now, and the money is coming into our coffers, not so much yours anymore. So I look at it as them just acquiring more IPs. It's not really so much about them trying to bring this enormous, because again, it's fine for them to buy them. That's fine. And like Kenshiro said, there's a ton of IPs and a ton of properties related to that particular purchase. The only one that I personally care about is that they get a hold of these original films and finally,
yes, sir,
untouched on Blu-ray.
Yes, sir. We can finally get the original cut re-released. That's sir.
That's the main thing that I want to come out of this. But again, if it furthers Disney's profits and furthers my stock, pricing, I'm good with that.
Yo, man, can't you envision like a boardroom, or almost like a scenario where it's like 20th Century Fox and their IPs get shoveled to Disney, and it's almost like a Mickey Mouse sized Unicron type saying, "You belong to me now." I belong to the
That's a good image, actually.
Yeah.
My only thing is I don't want to see a Deadpool ride at Walt Disney. I just don't want to see a Deadpool ride.
9 times out of 10.
Yo, can you imagine the jokes though that would happen?
That's like My Little Ponies and Little Baby Hands. And...
Little Baby Hands. They come out and touch you in the dark like, oh.
Right.
Hey, all I know is Star Wars World opens next year, and as far as I know, you have to wear a costume in that park. So I'm all good with that. So if Disney wants to take over the world, they are more than welcome to.
And again, I just want to say, I think that it would be great if they were to, if they were to buy it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Fair enough, but
we'll see what happens after Infinity War comes out.
Fair enough.
They might just take the box office from Infinity War and then dump it in their backyard. Be like, we want.
All right, now I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because we kind of need to. Let's think about the implications across the media globe. How big is too big? Like, because at this point, like, Disney owns damn near everything that matters to anyone. They own it,
right?
Like, so what do we think about that?
Disney is the new drug dealers right now. They own the blocks right now. They taking all the drug dealers. They're pushing them off. They're taking everything. I want your block. I want your block. And that
monopoly. Yeah, they would have Park Place.
I'm saying, listen, Fox been real disrespectful for years, and it's about time Disney to tap that ass. That's all I gotta say.
It's just nuts, because obviously it's like Disney owns one half of the world, Time Warner owns the other. So it's just like, it's like who could snatch up more properties at one time. So it's just like Disney, they just trying to make moves right now.
I'm saying they like trying to hit everybody up. Hey, what they say? Get down and lay down. That's what they say.
Oh wow.
Yo, you know what? Actually, Q just posted something really interesting in the chat over there on Facebook. The top 5 grossing movies in recent history. Avatar will be one. If Disney bought them, that would be under the Disney umbrella. Titanic is another. That would also be under the Disney umbrella. Force Awakens, Star Wars is already there. Jurassic World isn't owned by Disney, but damn near, I mean, might as well be. And The Avengers is number. They own 4 of the top 5 grossing movies ever. Like, what?
Sounds like smart business to me.
Absolutely.
Especially if you want to start a streaming channel. And let's not forget, Disney and Fox have some type of little relationship going, because FX was the only channel that was allowed to run The Avengers.
Yep.
Even HBO couldn't touch The Avengers.
Yep.
So let's just be real here.
Listen,
there's more. Go ahead.
No, here's one other thing. I'm gonna throw this in real fast, and I'll let you finish, LGZ. The other thing that would be that they say would be thrown in that deal is Hulu itself, because I didn't even know Fox owned Hulu, but Disney would own it. Hello.
Disney already owns a portion of Hulu, so it's like,
but they own it outright now.
They'll just get a bigger portion. It'd be like 6%. instead of 30. So that could be their streaming service. They're beginning to the streaming service, which to me it'd be nice because I don't have to sign up for a new one. They just add all their stuff to Hulu and everything would be great.
I'm down.
So I just want freaking, I personally, if it does happen, I think that would be just so awesome where we actually get some, even though you may not want to see him because they left a bad taste in your mouth, the Fantastic Four, we'd probably see a good one because they'll reboot it again, and there's nothing wrong with that. X-Men is already going to be rebooted because that old series that happened a long time ago is not happening anymore. So you're going to see that. They're just going to be pulling. It's going to be a true cinematic universe where they don't have to, dance around anybody to have their characters and do what DC can't do. So
I don't know. Could you imagine a new set of Avengers with Fantastic Four and X-Men characters?
Oh,
yes!
oh,
Oh my
I'm
god!
salivating at the prospect.
Oh my god! I gotta check my pants.
Okay, hold on.
and
See, and Elle is over there shaking her head. So, what price tag would you have to put on this in order for you to think this could happen?
Man,
You're shaking your head like it can't.
I'm just saying it's not about. I was shaking my head more at the Fantastic Four being a part of the Avengers world. I was just like, no. But
oh no! What?
Wait a minute, hold up. Wait, let me just say this. Today is November 7th. Just make sure y'all.
Oh yeah. Let's mark this in time.
Just make sure it's November 7th. Y'all just make sure that I was the one that was the voice of dissent in this. I just don't think. I think, like I said, it's just.
Yo,
it's smart and it would be great for Disney, but I just don't think. I think it's.
But think about it. Think about it. They would get the Fantastic Four, not just the Fantastic Four. They get Doctor Doom. Hello. They get Silver Surfer. Hello. They get Galactus as the big bad over everything. What?
That's fine. That's fine. But I think what she's saying, just from a business standpoint, is it's too big to happen. I think is what she's getting at.
Man, forget it. I'll take it. Whatever.
The thing is, though, is if you really think about it, 20th Century Fox, yes, they've been around for a very long time. So is Paramount. There's still other studios out there that have major influence. Warner Brothers, of course, being the other one. So you don't have anything to worry about as far as movie monopolies go until you hear that Disney suddenly acquired Warner Brothers. Because if that suddenly happens, then like, dude, all of y'all better go out and get Mickey Mouse hats then, because there won't be.
Yeah, man.
Left.
They'd own your soul.
The new government.
They would own your soul. Yes, they would. Go ahead and implant them Disney chips or something like that in hands or something.
They're trying to get it before Avengers. What do you call it?
6.
No, well, 6 or whatever the heck they're gonna call it. Yeah, the Infinity War. Because if I don't know the entire thing of the comics, but we do know most of those people that Fox owns were in the Infinity War in the comics. So maybe they are trying to get that deal done before that movie, because the movie hasn't been shot yet. So
I don't know, because I heard that they shot a lot of part 2 already because of the fact that the actors are there and available.
Or maybe they did. Maybe it makes
sense.
Yeah,
we don't know, but it'd be.
Oh, I guarantee you, if they suddenly all of a sudden, like, the deal is signed by the end of the year, and then they're like, oh wait, hold on, we got some reshoots to do for part 2.
I am excited for that, and like I said, Fox deserves everything.
But LGZ could be 100% right. She could be absolutely right that it does not happen, because she's over there plotting right now to find ways to be like, try to knock this one down. Shoot everybody down on this one.
No. Like I said, it would be cool. I think it would be great. I mean, I'm not looking forward to an Avengers. Fantastic Four and the Avengers, no. But if they reboot the Fantastic Four and it's great or better than the last 3 trash movies they put out, great, right? I'm all for that. But I just think that the companies are I think it's just too big. And somebody said in the chat, and Disney isn't too big to make that happen. Disney can buy them. They probably have the money to do it. I just think that to buy a corporation as big as Fox is gonna be that's not gonna work. I don't
feel like they're gonna run into like an antitrust type thing.
Yeah, it's good. There's gonna be something weird about it. I mean, and I'm looking at this only because I believe it was I'm going business. Schlumberger was trying to buy off a bunch of different oil companies. same level oil companies, and it was like it sounded great in the beginning and everybody was pumped up for it and it would have been a great thing to do. However, at the end of the day, it never went through. And I mean, this happened like 4 times, and it's just like you can't, as a major company, it's hard to buy another major company, you know, saying, and without going in. And I think that's all I'm saying.
Here's and I'm going to need you to keep your hands up and stay off of LinkedIn, so all them Fox people you know. For the next...
You got connections, you just don't know.
Here's how I look at it. I agree with you 100% on that. That like sometimes one company, when you got like one big company trying to buy another big company, it's like you do run into like, okay, your assets. How far do you want to dip into your assets to actually make this happen? And granted, we don't know how much. I mean, Disney makes money Disney's making $1 billion probably right now from the theme park in Japan. So I mean, it's like they probably all they got to do really is say, hey, for the next month, we're gonna take 5% off the top of all of our theme parks, and we're gonna buy Fox. That's probably what they're doing, because that's just how ridiculous it is.
Stupid.
Because the fact
stupid
that
money.
Nobody would have thought $4 billion. Oh yeah, by the way, we're buying all of the Star Wars. Bring it over here. Yeah. That's just crazy. That it's on such a ridiculous level. Now, granted, that's just one particular property in one, you know.
But it wasn't Star Wars though. It was everything.
No. It was everything Lucas is what I'm saying though. But even still, Lucas, as big as he was, is not Fox. So I understand completely what she's saying. That the scale is way bigger. You know, to buy up
just one division of Fox. So
no, but still, Fox is enormous. But Fox is still enormous. No matter how you look at it, she's 100% right on that. Fox is huge.
Yeah.
So
hey,
the thing is, like, wouldn't all Disney would have to do is just buy most of the shares, though? Like if they were going to do it,
there's rules against that though. There's rules against
there are
more or less,
because that'd be a ridiculous hostile takeover.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. So let's wrap this up. Let's make sure we wrap this up because we've been talking about it for a while. We gotta get through some of the rest of the stuff. But man, I mean, my mind was completely blown when we heard about this thing. My mind would be like, I might just have to go ahead and inject Disney blood into my stream if this thing actually goes through, because man, I'm gonna live, eat, breathe, and sleep Disney for the rest of my life. I swear to God, I would. So anyway, first and foremost, I want to say hello to Slep TV and Non-Tees over there on Twitch. Non-Tees says something about your vest, GQ. He really likes it. He thinks it's pretty dope. So
thank you.
It is pretty fly. So that's 2 compliments in one day. Please don't inflate his ego, because he really doesn't need it any bigger than it already is. So let me all right, so let's get to the news of the nation, guys, and we got some quick stuff to actually get to before we go. One of the things that we actually are talking about in the news that dropped today was the surprise signing of Brian Michael Bendis to DC Comics, the man who created Jessica Jones, who basically, I don't know, wrote Ultimate Spider-Man for forever, had an incredible Daredevil run over on Marvel Comics, is now bringing his talents to DC Comics. We don't know yet any of the particulars on what exactly he's going to be doing, but this is a stupendous get for DC Comics. Fallen Marvel and Super Nerd, you two are like the biggest comic nerds besides myself, probably on the show. Your comments.
You go ahead. You go ahead, Super Nerd.
Okay. I think I will actually buy more DC books because of him. Just think about it. Like, it was him. He put the Avengers on like that, like the 2000.
The new Avengers,
run.
Yeah.
The new Avengers.
The new
he
Avengers,
put that
yes.
run on the map. That made me buy it consistently buy it and read it, and just his work in general. I read a lot of people call him a hack, like a hack for what are you talking about?
I don't know where that's coming from. I don't
know where that's coming from. Like, he put Marvel in the state where it's like, oh shit, these books. And I missed that whole run that he did because it made sense. After that, it's kind of like it doesn't make, obviously Marvel doesn't make sense now in their books, but everything he did up until like 2005 and like what I say 10 or 11 was dope. Now for this to be on DC, this is gonna be a big thing. So I'm thinking to myself, is this gonna knock Jeff Johns off? Is he gonna be like on the back burner? Because I know Dan Slott is the man over there too, but
yeah, he is. But I think he's mostly over Spider-Man right now.
Okay, so but I think this is going to be incredible for DC, and I hope he do like his version of a Civil War for the DC universe to shake up some shit, and or because I also like about Bendis is he will bring an old character back and make him amazing, and that's what DC needs instead of using the same old characters from Justice League. And he'll definitely bring some old characters from like the 60s and 70s and reinvent them and make them better and make you love them. That's what I like about Michael Bendis. So
Marvel.
Now, the only thing I can say about this particularly is that, like you said, like he pretty much created wrote for Jessica Jones and essentially Miles Morales too. And the one thing I'm more familiar with is the Miles Morales, which I actually enjoyed. I actually enjoyed like most of Ultimate Comic Spider-Man. But just to piggyback off what you were saying, like how some people were saying like he was a hack. See, that comes from a lot of people wasn't a fan of Civil War 2. And I've been hearing that from like a lot of people. Like a lot of people like were feeling a certain kind of way about Civil War 2. And I think X-Men Regenesis as well. I may be wrong, but a lot of folks weren't happy with those story arcs. It's like people thinking like he's going to go to DC and mess up their stuff too. So, but I can't really comment it on as much, but like most stories that he was involved with, I did enjoy from what I did read so far. So only thing I could do is just wait and see what he does on the DC side. Because right now, I mean, most of the stories for DC is what's really interesting in me. Like, moreover, because the Rebirth has been great.
It has been great.
You know, what else? Like I'm still trying to get into Metal. Some of the other Elseworld stuff that they have out right now has been pretty decent. So only thing we can do is just wait and see. I mean, that's all I can say about it.
Right. Absolutely.
I want him to like. Actually, no. I take it back. I heard something about Rorschach. Rorschach was supposed to be Rorschach. Shut up. Was supposed to be one of his things he might be working on. I'm not sure. I just kind of heard that.
What is like a prequel?
They haven't actually confirmed or denied. I have no idea. Yeah,
right, so that's one of the things they were talking about.
Whatever it is, my man's gonna really, put the screws to it and really turn out some really great stuff. I think this probably will revitalize his career because I think it was waning a little bit over on Marvel. I think it had gotten stale, and I think a new environment is gonna really work well for him. Honestly, I want to thank Slep TV for following us over there on Twitch. We appreciate the follow, ladies. I don't want to totally dismiss it, but are you familiar with any of Brian Michael Bendis' work? If you read it, what did you think of it so far?
No, I apologize. Comics is not my strength.
Hey, you know what? I had to ask.
I listen to what my husband tell me, and then I'm like, okay.
Whatever, honey. I ain't trying to hear what you talking about. It's a waste of time. I ain't trying to read no picture books. You get points for trying. Absolutely. Get points for trying. Absolutely. For sure.
Oh, yeah. No. But we are not I found out from my husband, we are not a DC household. We are Marvel household.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That was my household. Damn it.
Real quick, right. Jump in. Tony Young over in the comments is saying, I guess the hack comments come from the fact that Bendis is a horrible team player, is what I guess he's heard.
I mean, you know what? I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know if, honestly, some of it because Bendis became so big over at Marvel, not only because of the Ultimate run, but it was like when he did Ultimate Spider-Man for like, what was it, Fallen Marvel? It was like over 200 something issues that he did, and he created Miles Morales. Let's not forget that he stayed doing Ultimate Spider-Man, then he went to doing the New Avengers, then he got put on Daredevil. It was like everywhere he went, success followed him, and he just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So some of that might be coming from kind of like haterade, and they say that he ignores past stories and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but what Tony is saying though, real quick, what Tony is saying though is he put another comment in. He says he'll write a story that completely ignores past stories, and his characters will behave in a complete 180 as to how they've acted for years, and he doesn't care. Then he will do that, and then he'll move on from the book and leave that other one just kind of dangling.
I mean, I can understand that. People that have stayed with a character for a long time are kind of like hate that their characters that they've loved have been kind of like played with. But you can't deny that he turns out good stuff. He has really good material. So
So with this comparison, like, would it be like safe to say he's sort of getting kind of like a Frank Miller treatment now?
Yeah.
Like it a little bit.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Listen,
Prepare for Batman who murders people all the time.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah, that's probably exactly where it's gonna end up going. Last comment, Super Nerd, then we're gonna move to the next thing.
listen, Bendis is a new kid with a pair of Jordans and everybody mad. Let's be real. He got the new Jordans, he got the Gucci belt, and everybody mad because he's styling and profiling, and they're mad because they can't get what he got. That's all I got.
Alrighty then. Okay.
Meanwhile, over on Money Mountain,
right?
Disney and Marvel.
Yes.
Right.
Let's talk about that. I mean,
yeah, anyway. So really quick, the next thing we're gonna talk about is excuse me, hold on a second. Trying to get the next slide to show up.
Time is money, Kenshiro.
Time is money. You are absolutely right. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Justice League. Obviously, we know Justice League is getting ready to come out next week, but some news and the clips are starting to trickle out this week. One of the things that came out today was that the 2-hour runtime for Justice League was actually mandated by Warner Brothers execs. How do we feel about that?
What do they know? I mean, shit.
Apparently, they think they know everything. They know about making movies. So
shit, they've done nothing great since the first Batman movie, and fuck, that was damn near 20 years ago. So your whole talk about what should be 2 hours, what shouldn't be 2 hours, can eat a dick.
Wait, are we talking about like 2 hours, like right on the mark?
No, not 2 hours right on the mark, but it's not too far over. Whereas some people kind of were thinking that Justice League was going to be this super huge, epic movie where it was going to be like,
okay,
I don't know, like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. It was going to be like Lord of the Rings style.
You would think. I mean, Zack Snyder, you would think so, but like the thing is, that's a little. It's like I'm kind of glad for it, but on the other hand, I'm a little concerned just for the fact that with them doing Justice League and everything that's led up to this point, granted, they're probably going to retcon a thing or two. It's like they still have to fill in like some plot holes that's been left in like story wise or whatever. I mean, it's hard. You can't even call them plot holes. They're basically craters. So, I mean, it's kind of got me concerned, but I don't know.
I don't like the time limit. I don't like the time limit because I don't think you can put a time on a really good story. I mean, I've sat through movies that are like 2.5, 3 hours long, and I was like, okay, I got it. I mean, I think chopping it off at 2 hours is a little bit too much. I need a little bit more than 2 hours. I mean, there's too many characters. There's too many characters to just leave it to just 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Two things. Q and I think are on the same page on this. I'll get to that in just a second, his comment. But I think part of it is they technically gave you their character introductions in Batman v Superman. So
not all of them. I mean, not all of them.
You know about the Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman because you saw their little.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
That's an introduction.
Those
my goodness.
I'm joking on that.
Justice League is going to be the greatest movie ever.
That's a lie, and that determines that's a lie.
No, I'm saying if those were the introductions, it's gonna be the greatest movie ever.
Right.
Apparently.
No. Real quick though, Q said basically DC and Warner Brothers basically want to keep people in and out of those theaters, and I think that's exactly what it is. Because if you have a 2-hour running time, you can start that movie once every hour, like most theaters do, for repeated times, and hopefully for them, if they get bank and this movie is great, they can break that $1 billion mark that they've basically been missing ever since Dark Knight. Because
very sound strategy.
Real Batman v Superman should have been a $1 billion movie with
man, we talked about that ad nauseum. Absolutely.
That shouldn't have been a no-brainer.
Right. So if this one can't do it, then that means that they just don't know how to make the movies work.
Maurice Baker says that they haven't learned from BVS, and time will tell when we see the movie next week. I don't want to say for sure.
Culture Junkies event, where are we going?
Absolutely, it'll be a Culture Junkies event. Actually, that's one thing we're going to set up probably later on tonight. But also, if you want to do a Culture Junkies event, please do join us in our Culture Junkies network group. Let us know where you want to do the event, and we'll actually add it to the we'll add it to the event group calendar, and people that live in your area can actually be able to join us. Tyler William Arnold, thank you for watching the show. He said there's. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If your event happens to be taking place in either Hawaii or California, you can send a plane ticket. I will actually come down to your event.
Absolutely.
Your event, because that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Real quick about this, and then we're gonna move on to some of the stuff that's coming out this week, because we got to wrap up the show. We're gonna run a really long time. Tyler William Arnold says about Justice League. Well, a lot of things have been trimmed from the movie. Several scenes, especially almost everything, including Iris West, almost everything, including Lex Luthor, which honestly is not a loss at all. Let's be honest. And another important scene have been cut from the movie. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. And it's almost here. Like literally, it's like 9 days away. I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait.
It's frustrating.
I can wait.
It's frustrating.
What's frustrating? What's frustrating?
Because I mean, you guys don't even like Batman versus Superman. Y'all know I was very adamant about how I love that movie.
Oh and my God. I forgot I was in the midst of one of them.
Oh, I'm just saying. I just think they need to have as much time as they need. I mean, because I think if Batman versus Superman taught us anything, everything that they left out really put like Follow Marvel said, craters like everywhere, and people are like, well, what was that? What was that? Like, they don't need to do that again. That was bad. They need to like
check it out. Just because the extended edition actually was a slightly better movie, that doesn't mean BVS was actually a good movie, because it wasn't.
Raise up off the movie.
Hell no.
But no, look, I will say this.
Anthony.
After watching the complete edition, it only went up like half a point for me, because at the end of the day, it was still the same movie at the end of the day. I'm sorry.
Yo, man, it was still the end of the
I respect your opinion, but
right
in this exchange, you're on a lonely island right now.
Absolutely.
Here's one thing I'll say about that. Because if you're a good editor, and you can fit all of that necessary stuff in under that time limit, because you know what to trim, what to leave in, what to touch on, what to, drop. So making the movie longer to make it better is not necessarily a good thing, because that means that whoever edited the film didn't understand that, hey, maybe people will buy into Superman was framed if we show the guy, flamethrowing the bodies versus they were riddled with bullets.
Who's gonna buy that? Who's gonna buy that?
But see, the thing about that is when you have execs that come that regulating stuff on the film. So they're just talking about the aspect that they tripped it to 2 hours, but you have no idea what that entails. They might be telling, sending more down, which is even effing it up even more. So we definitely don't want that.
You know what, Elle? I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to put it on myself one of these days in my editing. I am going to take Batman v Superman and give you 3 trailers. I'm going to give you the trailers they should have gave you to make that movie more appealing to people. I will actually do that. I'm going to do that.
I'm looking forward to that. Tom TV put it perfectly over there on YouTube. He said, Superman and his AK. Absolutely. You know what? Never mind. You know what? We'll be here all day talking about this movie yet again, and we're going to be talking about Justice League next week anyway. So let's shelve this right now. Let's move on to the rest of the stuff that actually is going to be that's going to be coming out this week. Some of the stuff that we actually think you junkies need to either pick up or go and see this week. That's the rest of our news of the nation. I apologize, I don't have the graphics for everything right now. I'll do better next week. I promise you. So real quick, what's going to be coming out this week? As the music is going to be playing, because we have to go ahead and get ready to go ahead and get out of here. But what's coming out this week? The 30 for 30 for Ric Flair is actually on ESPN right now. Honestly, that's something that we all need to watch, because Ric Flair is like one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and we kind of really want to know his backstory. And 30 for 30 absolutely is one of those phenomenal series. For in games this week, the Xbox One X dropped.
30 for 30 comes on what channel?
ESPN.
Oh, so it's another Disney production.
Yes. Technically,
Nice.
yes, it is.
Hit yourself
Technically, yes,
with
it
the
is.
hammer. Hit yourself
Yeah.
in the head
Drop
with
the
the hammer.
hammer.
Yeah,
Hit your head
technically,
with the
yes,
hammer.
yes, it is. So anyway, games this week. We also had the Xbox One S drop out today. So who's going to pick up the Xbox One X? Does it really matter?
I
I think-
will not.
I think Simon Says was getting one or talking about one. I know Megashawn wants to get one or something.
We know
Waffles
Quiet
already
Mike
got
got
one.
one.
Yep, Quiet Mike, and Waffles got one.
I will not
Not
be getting
mine.
one. I will only get one if I actually really need to. Until then, I'll hold on to my Gears 4 2TB edition. So
Okay, that's cool.
I'm
I'm
with
one
you
of the
on
things.
that, man.
I'm with you
Yeah.
on that. It's gonna need a price drop or a Black Friday before it's deemed worthy.
Worthy.
All the stuff that I'm
Worthy.
seeing out of it, though, it's really making it tough to wait because it is boosting a lot of stuff. Specifically, the older games, making them look really nice.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't really need to have an Xbox One X. Wanna know why? Ultron right here. I don't need an Xbox One X. I got a PC. I don't need one. PC Master Race. Anyway, the other things that's coming out this week on Steam, I actually put it in and downloaded it. Right now is Neo Complete Edition, which was actually a fantastic action RPG. So I'm definitely going to be playing that on our Twitch channel sometime this week. Also on the home releases, if you are into anime, the highest grossing anime film of all time, Your Name, is out from Bandai Entertainment, I think. And also new in theaters is the somewhat critically panned Murder on the Orient Express, and the sequel to Daddy's Home, Daddy's Home 2. Anybody gonna be checking all that?
Can't wait to see John Cena.
Oh my God.
You know what?
I may go see Murder in the Orient. I'm not sure yet,
I'm gonna see
but
that one. I love Murder.
the Daddy's Home movie, I'm skipping it just because John Cena's in it. So sorry.
Whoa, the salt on Cena. What? Wait a minute.
Yes, I am a Cena hater. So yes, no.
Yo, oh my
sorry.
goodness.
Oh,
Sorry.
Cena's acting is hilarious, man.
It's actually really good. Yes,
What's that
it
last
is.
movie he was in?
John Cena has
Trainwreck.
been
Do it.
all
Trainwreck.
comedy.
He had me dying in Trainwreck.
Yeah, dude, he was
I
hilarious.
tried.
Any
I
comedy,
can't do it.
John Cena is better.
I've tried.
Ah.
I watched The
comedian
Marine.
than he is better in action.
So how about
I
that
watched-
Tyrese?
less said the better. The less said about Tyrese, the better, man. I'm not gonna front. So anyway, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to get out of here. We already kind of kept you from your time. You need to go and watch the ESPN special 30 for 30 on Ric Flair. We'll be back next week talking about Justice League, for Fallen Marvel, and for LGZ. For you know what, this list is getting really long. I'm just say bye. See you, everybody. Bye.
Peace out, everybody.
All right. See you guys.
Yo, junkies, it's
Like and
Kenshiro.
subscribe if you haven't
March
done
is coming
so
to an
already.
end.
Please.
But not before Ghost in the Shell closes out March Movie Madness.